October 13th, 2016. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 110 of You Can Bet On That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet On That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So real quick, we just want to announce that there has been a VIMP scheduling change. So no Bingo Bingo, which is the event at VIMP where we'll be doing our podcast live along with 88 Days to Macau and Vegas Fanboy and Denton, Dallas, and beyond. That has been moved to 2 p.m. on Sunday, October 16th at the D showroom. So the same day, same place, just a new time, 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Yes. Because we have to get out of there by 3:30 for the real show that they have at the showroom that night. So yeah, it's been moved to 2
real
o'clock.
show?
Yeah.
What does that mean, Mark?
So we're looking forward to VIMP. Can hardly wait for that. So there's a new casino that's opening up here in San Diego. Actually, we're recording this on Sunday, October 9th, and the new casino opens tomorrow on the 10th. So by the time this posts, this new casino will have been open for 3 days. It's funny because Trump Taj Mahal is closing on Monday, October 10th, and then this new casino is opening. It's completely unrelated, I'm sure, but lose a casino, get a casino.
Right, so the world stays balanced?
Is that what
you're saying?
That's right, the world stays balanced, yeah. So this new casino, it's called Hollywood Casino Hamul.
You should spell Hamul for those people around the country who aren't familiar with Spanish.
All right, so yeah, Hamul is spelled Jamul.
So around the country, Bill, we're going to say Hollywood Casino Jamal.
Right, it was kind of like where we live here, or where I live, El Cajon. People say El Cajon, or La Jolla, people say La Jolla. Yeah, but anyway, it's in Hamul. It's a very controversial casino because Hamul is this very quaint rural town in San Diego County. And most of its residents were against the casino opening.
I'd say like 99% of them were against the casino opening, yeah.
Because it really just doesn't, belong there as far as aesthetics go.
It is an Indian reservation there, though.
Yes, but I don't know how many people are actually in the tribe. I don't know if there are that many people.
It's probably very small, very small.
I don't know a lot about it. But so the casino itself is right off this 2-lane highway, a pretty dangerous 2-lane highway. Right. People go on it pretty quickly. Anyway, we've been bombarded with ads for this place. I think back in April, because I remember seeing it at the beginning of the baseball season. And I mean, not just a few ads, but certainly watching a baseball game, almost every commercial break. It's a Hollywood Hamul Casino coming soon.
Coming soon. It was always coming soon.
And their website said, opening this summer. And they just couldn't give a date. And it was because of how controversial it was and people trying to stop it. I don't know legally exactly what was happening.
I know their main contention is the road and it not being capable of handling the traffic and the accidents. And I guess they're going to have alcohol out there too. So they were worried about drunk drivers on that road.
Definitely.
But do you think that's really their main thing? Or is it just that they don't want a lot of people in their quaint little community, which I understand?
Yeah, I think that's probably it. The crowds and
crowds and stuff, I mean, they're used to driving home and, there's few people out there on that road.
Yeah, I mean, you do see this with a lot of tribal casinos. They're kind of out in these rural areas, and certainly a lot of the casinos around here are like that, but nothing quite like this one. The casinos around here, they're kind of off deep into the reservation and not a lot of other residents around.
A few of them are right off the highway too, so there's no road concerns. You just get off a highway and you're there. Yeah. And the ones that aren't off a highway are usually, like you said, way, way out. This is actually fairly close to a large residential area.
Yes, definitely. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, it's finally open, and it is owned by Penn National Gaming, which owns several other Hollywood casinos around the country, along with the Tropicana and M Resort in Las Vegas. So now we actually have another local casino where we can go and earn comps for trips to Vegas. It's not as big as the Total Rewards Network, but at least they're, Tropicana. I don't think I've ever stayed at Tropicana. I can't see us ever staying at M.
No, it's too far off this.
Maybe Tropicana someday. So, I mean, we'll definitely check it out. I don't know if it will be a regular place to go to, but we'll check it out and let everybody know. I'm sure it's going to be a madhouse this
Now,
first
I know
week.
that the question that everybody is waiting for is, do they have craps?
Well, on their website, one of the little descriptions says, win big by hitting a blackjack or rolling a 7. They actually say rolling a 7, and there's a picture of a craps table. So supposedly
We're assuming that
have
they have craps. Now, how will we find out? I'll be at work Monday.
Yes.
Okay, and I assume you will be too.
Yes.
So how are we going to know that there's craps out there as soon as possible?
That's a good question. I'll ask around. Well, it's tempting to drive by there real quick, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe get your mom or dad to drive out there. My dad might.
Oh my God. On that road.
Yeah.
What are we putting them through? I'll ask around, but maybe we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find somebody. Somebody we know is going to go out there on opening day.
Yeah, somebody will know. Somebody will know. All right, so my son recently got an internship at the San Diego Zoo. He's a senior in high school, and he got this internship, which is a fantastic internship. I mean, the San Diego Zoo is world-renowned. It's a great zoo. And that's something that he wants to do as a career, maybe work as a zookeeper or something like that. Yeah. So he got this internship. And so he goes to the zoo 3 days a week, and he's doing this for 7 weeks. Now, on 3 days during this internship, he's going to go up to the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, which is up north of us here. And it's only like 2 or 3 hours that he's in this internship every day.
Okay.
And so my wife has been picking him up from school. He doesn't have a license, of course. You know, these millennials today.
Yeah, they don't want to drive.
So she picked him. Actually, saves us some money on car insurance, and we don't have to have another car, too.
Tightwad.
So anyway, my wife picks him up from school, takes him to the zoo, and then I pick him up from the zoo on the way home. So we were talking about, well, how are we going to get him up to the San Diego?
Because the zoo's so close to your work.
Well, but I mean, you know, it's not that close, but it's in the city of San Diego, right? I mean, it's not terribly inconvenient, right?
Yeah, right.
But however, the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, that's a ways away.
Yeah.
And it's not the kind of place where you would drive up there, drop him off, and then come home, because by the time you got home, you'd have to get in the car to go back.
I know where this is going.
So anyway, my wife was thinking, oh gosh, can I ask Mark to, you know, on some days maybe get off work a little early and take David up there and maybe wait for him? And when she finally brought it up, I said, so what you're asking me to do is to drive up to the north part of the county, drop him off, try to figure out what to do for, say, 2 or 3 hours, and then come back and pick him up. Dr. Mike, do you have any ideas?
Well, the only thing I could think of that you could do, well, there's 2 things. Number one, you sit in the parking lot, enjoy the nice, quiet, it's very tranquil up there. Yeah. Maybe do some meditation, be good for you. Would be good for your soul. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or you could continue on that road a little ways to Harris, Southern California, and play some craps.
I don't just have spousal approval to go to the casino.
She's demanding
it's an insistence. Correct. So I've got, it's only 3 days during this internship, but that's what I'll be doing.
3 glorious days in your life.
I'll be getting off early, picking him up, dropping him off at the safari park, playing craps for 2 to 3 hours, picking him up and coming
picking him up. Yeah. Well, I hope that works out. I hope that, you know what would be great is if Sherry reimbursed you for any money into your gambling fund that you might have lost. See, now that's
that would be great, Dr. Mike.
That's what she should do.
You know what would be great too?
I know this is inconvenient.
You know what would be great too? If I could fly. Wouldn't that be great? Oh, I'd love that.
You don't know the answer to these questions until you run it by her. Okay. You got to run it by her.
Because I had a pretty rough night at the table last night. What do you think?
Yeah, can you reimburse that into my gambling fund? Because, I was forced to go there.
That's right. I didn't want to go.
I got a lot of stuff at work to do. Oh, God. I just hope that you don't forget and you're at the table and you're in the middle of a hot roll and poor David's just sitting out there. It's in North County, too. It can get hot. It could be 100+ degrees.
He can wait. He can wait. I'm not going to leave in the middle of a hot roll.
Get yourself a soda, David. Sit on the bench. And
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. That way, when you make a purchase, we get a little kickback that helps cover the costs of hosting the show, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You'll pay the same price just like normal. We got an email from listener Daniel, who's going to be at VIMF coming up here, so we'll see him there.
Excellent.
He was playing at a $5 blackjack table at the Plaza Hotel downtown that had a sign that said, "World's Most Liberal Blackjack." Now, as soon as you see a sign like that, you should be suspicious, right? It's like, right, what does that mean? The sign also said, dealer must hit on soft 17. Well, right now, just that means it's not the most liberal one.
Right, exactly.
You can split as many times as you want and double on any split. Okay, well, that's good.
Those are good.
The rules seem okay. Well, it wasn't until Daniel got his first blackjack that he was informed that he would get paid even money.
Very liberal.
That is very liberal. It turns out suited blackjacks pay 2 to 1, but any other blackjack pays even money.
Great. What a house
Just
edge.
and it's a shame that this is happening downtown. He said then he went over to the D and played and won, and so it was okay.
Well, you ought to take him to court for false advertising.
Yeah, I'd like to look at this table and really see what is on there, right? Because they didn't tell him until it was time to get paid, and that's
that's not good. Because suited blackjack. Did you figure that out? What the?
Oh, I didn't figure it out, but I mean, it's not as good as getting paid 3 to 2 on every, not even close.
Right.
No.
And did he say what was it? A single deck, double deck, six deck?
Yeah, he didn't mention.
Probably a shoe, I would imagine.
No matter what, though, it's just go find a regular blackjack table.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Maybe it's migrating from the strip to downtown. Bad rules.
I hope not.
We'll see eventually. God, if downtown goes to 6-5 everywhere, that would be
would be a shame. But they haven't. They've got 10 times odds downtown.
Right.
Downtown Grand has free buy bets. So let's hope that it doesn't seep into there.
It's funny too because I don't know if this is your impression. Now, we're not there every single day of the week, so I don't know what downtown is like on a Tuesday at 10 a.m. Yeah. But it seems to me when we're there on the weekends, there's a lot of people in those casinos.
Yeah.
I mean, we go and it's hard to get on a table sometimes,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
So if there's people there and they're still offering these rules, it's not like they're hurting trying to draw people in. So, what's the deal with the strip? Strip casinos. Why? There's so many of them there. You think they would be the ones?
I mean, strip casinos is supposedly, the demographics are shifting and people are spending more money on clubs and food, and so
they're going for entertainment versus gambling,
so they can make their rules worse. So and it's a topic for a whole other show. But we're not.
Well,
I
bet you that turns around. I bet you.
I hope so.
I'd be willing to wager that this is exactly what happened to Vegas when they went through that family friendly thing, and they all went family, and they realized, hey, this doesn't work, and then they went back. I bet you within a few years it goes back.
I sure hope so, but I mean, it's up to us as players, to avoid these bad games. And unfortunately, we hear plenty of stories about how a $10 blackjack 6 to 5 table is packed, whereas a $15 3 to 2 nobody's there. Right? You hear stories about that.
And I can see that because most people don't even know the difference, right?
Yep.
Most people at the tables, I think, if you not by volume of money bet or wagered, but by actual people. There are more people in any casino gambling who have very little gambling experience than there are actual gamblers, what we would consider gamblers, regular gamblers.
I think I'll go with that.
In Vegas. Now, in local casino here, that's a totally different story.
Right.
But in Vegas, a lot of people are there. They're there for the convention. They're there for just a weekend getaway. I hear this. A patient told me the other day, him and his wife go, and I said, "Oh, do you gamble?" "No, we don't gamble. We just like to go there because we get out of town and we leave the kids with my mom, and we go there and we go to a couple shows and we have some nice dinners."
Sure.
I think there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
Especially Southern California people, because they can, it's 4.5 hour drive.
It's quick. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to our voicemail hotline. Don't forget, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. So again, we're recording this episode early, so we actually only have one call, and it's from Ryan. So let's listen.
What's up, guys? This is Ryan from Southern Cali. It's been a while since I called you guys. I'm headed to Vegas tomorrow, October 8th. I realized I had a few gambling trips that I haven't even filled you in on, so I guess I may as well do that now. San Manuel. I had 2 trips there. For the first time I ever had played card craps. They got a $15 minimum, though, which is a lot more than I like to play. I happened to get down there at the right time, I guess. Hesitant, but I only bought it for $200, which is nothing if you're on a $15 table. 4 straight points, and there was quite a few come bets there. Every single bet I hit, though, was just, I backed my odds only one, even when I was up. So I kind of kicked myself afterwards because I walked away about 500 up after about 45 minutes. And I didn't have the money to go 3, 4, 5, but if I started pressing a little bit more, that would have been one of those rolls where, it could have easily been $1,500. just like that. But I had 2 good trips there. They're a little slow flipping the cards, but continuous shuffle there. I was asking about how many cards and how many decks there were, and they didn't know. They had 2 different numbers, but it worked out pretty good. You know, a little bit after that, I think it was in July. No, sorry, August. Went to Vegas and kind of gave a lot of that back. And I had a bad craps trip. That's my first losing trip playing craps in over a year, about 7, 8 trips. I was on a 6 streak, but that's over with. So tomorrow we're going to go get it again. Sports betting, my over-under pick, I had placed some bet for the Indiana Pacers. They opened up at only 43.5 wins, which they're going to get easy. So I've got money on that. And I'm pretty good at the over-unders every year, so the number's already moved up to 45. Hopefully everything goes good. Thanks for the show, guys. Talk to you guys soon.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, San Manuel, Harris, Southern California, where we go, they have been losing dealers to San Manuel.
Right.
A few of our favorite dealers have gone there.
They've expanded, I guess, their casino,
Yeah.
and they need more dealers.
Yeah.
And I think that from what we hear, it's better working conditions for the dealers.
Well, specifically, they said they get to keep their own tips.
Right. There's no tip sharing.
Right.
So for good dealers, that's great.
Yeah.
And, Brian probably won because Julie was probably dealing to
Yeah,
him.
it could be.
One
That
of
was
our
probably
favorite dealers.
One of our favorite
Julie
dealers
left,
up there now, yeah. Ryan, don't feel bad about not betting more on what turned out to be a so-called hot streak, because it could have easily gone the other way,
Right.
and then suddenly, you're out of money in 10 minutes. So
yeah, well, I'm always punching Mark saying, God, why didn't I bet more? Look, we just went through this hot streak and I didn't bet more, because you feel bad about it. But, you can't.
No, and think all the times when you said, I think I am going to bet more this time, then you get wiped out.
And you get wiped out.
I
yeah.
know, but it's funny that, though, he asked about how many decks were being shuffled for these, this cards craps, and
Right.
they didn't know, or they wouldn't tell him. I mean, I'm thinking they just don't know, and how pathetic is that?
That's really pathetic.
Or they're worried that somehow he's going to take advantage of the game. We use 8 decks. Oh, really?
Really? Well, I know exactly what to do with an 8-deck shoe.
Yeah, whatever it is. But we'll have to get up there sometime. It's relatively close to us. It's just not that close.
It's not that close.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think from my house it would take to get there? Probably an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of these days we'll do it.
Maybe closer to 2 even.
Yeah, it could be. Well, that's good then. He bet on the Pacers. I don't really follow basketball, but that's great. He got it at 43.5. Took the over.
Right. It's already at 45.
And now it's already at 45. That's good. Probably a lot better than the over 7 games that you picked for the Chargers.
God. Going into the season, you would have thought, I mean, you can debate this all you want, right? But I thought for sure, because we push on 7. Mm-hmm. So we only lose really on 6. And I thought, they're going to win 7 games. Mm-hmm. And they won 4 last year, I understand. But, they had Bosa coming in and, they were looking good. And, God,
folks,
can you believe it?
I know some listeners are getting tired of this, but we just have to emphasize how horrible it is here to be a sports fan. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about how miserable it was. It's 2 weeks later, and it's still awful.
It's actually worse.
We're just off. We just watched a Charger game. We're recording this just after we watched another horrible loss.
Where within the last 2 minutes, they had to just make a 30-yard field goal.
Yeah.
And they fumbled the snap.
Yeah. We this is like supernatural. I know there have been people watching on Twitter. It's like, oh my gosh, this really is happening. Mark and Dr. Mike, I thought it was just kind of fun to listen to them, and yeah.
No, it's going to be another sleepless night for me. I'm going to be tired at work tomorrow because I won't sleep tonight.
We got some offers from several people who said they would make bets for us on the Chargers Thursday during VIMP, because we're not going to get there till later.
Right.
I don't even know if we're going to take them up on it now. I'm going to leave it up to you,
honestly,
Mike. So
I don't know. I don't know if I want to bet
thank
on
you for all the offers.
It'd be just like us to bet and then they fall apart, or bet against them.
Bet against
which
them.
I was going to do.
I mean,
that's no fun.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what to do. But how about those Padres, though? I mean, we do have the Padres still here.
Look, the thing is, yes, there's something about the Chargers, though, that pissed me off so bad. The Padres I can live with. Maybe
the Padres ended up in last place in their division by being swept the last 3 games of the season. They could end up in last place. They just had to win one of the last 3 to avoid the cellar.
Let's move on. I don't want people to just turn us off. Let's move on.
I think people need to hear. When someone in the world is suffering, somebody needs to do something about this.
Hey, let's talk about Blackjack. Let's talk about Blackjack basic strategy, all right?
All right.
Okay. So back in the 60s, Edward O. Thorpe and Julian Braun. Edward O. Thorpe wrote Beat the Dealer, very influential blackjack book about counting cards and what have you.
Right.
Well, he and Julian Braun used IBM computers to generate the perfect strategy for playing blackjack. This is now commonly known as basic strategy for blackjack, and it is a set of rules for playing every possible hand mathematically perfectly.
You should stress that mathematically perfect does not mean you're going to win.
Does not mean you're going to win.
It just means that you probably have a better chance of winning if you follow this for a long enough period of time.
Right, and this has nothing to do with counting cards either.
No.
This is
just a way to play so that you can get the game as close in your favor as possible over a long period of time.
That's correct. So depending on your hand and the dealer's up card, there is a basic strategy rule that tells you the correct way to play. Hit, stand, split, double down, surrender. There's a rule. Basic strategy for blackjack can vary depending on the rules for a particular game you're playing. For example, does the dealer stand on soft 17 or hit soft 17? Can you double down after splitting? How many decks are being used in the game?
Now, these things change basic strategy slightly.
There's usually only a couple of rules here and there that change based on that.
Yeah.
Right.
So for just a regular person who doesn't want to spend a lot of time remembering basic strategy, you can probably, remember basic strategy for, say, the dealer, standing on soft 17, and you can double down after splitting. And if you remember that, and you happen to be playing a table where those aren't the things, it's not changing that much.
Not too much. And this is actually a great way to introduce this. We're going to be talking about rules in basic strategy that are consistent between the different games that you can play. So we're going to talk about some rules that are the same no matter whether there are 8 decks, 1 deck. You can only split once. You can only, we're going to talk about rules that are consistent between all these games. Okay. For example, you should always split aces. Doesn't matter, what the rules are in the game. You should always split aces. There might be games where you can resplit them or not. There may be some where you can take a hit after you get a single card, because typically when you split aces, they only give you one more card.
Right.
Because
some casinos will allow you to keep hitting.
Some will. It's unusual.
It's very unusual.
But anyway, always split aces. Okay. So what are some of the other plays that are correct no matter what the rules of the game? Let's say you have a hard 10, so like a 3 and a 7. You should hit if the dealer is showing a 10 or an ace. Otherwise, you should double down. Now, remember, when face cards are worth 10 in blackjack, so when we say the dealer's showing a 10, we mean the dealer's just showing a 10 or a face card.
Right.
So if you have a hard 10, 3, 7, hit if the dealer's showing 10 or an ace. Otherwise, double down. That's consistent throughout it.
Right. So anything 2 through 9, you're going to double down. If it's got an ace or a 10, you're just going to hit the hand.
Correct.
So that if you don't get a good card, you can hit again.
Yes. And again, this has all just been worked out with computers and mathematics, and that's what it comes down to. But you can kind of think about it in your head, right?
Yeah, it makes sense empirically if you think about it.
Yeah. Okay, surrender. Now, some blackjack games offer surrender. It's where you can surrender your hand and you lose half your bet. There are some situations where you will lose less money in the long run if you surrender, as opposed to playing the hand out.
Now, I think this is the hardest thing for a novice to wrap their brain around.
It's like, why am I voluntarily losing?
Right. Why am I voluntarily giving up half my bet?
Mm-hmm.
Why won't I take a chance? And, especially when you surrender and then the next card that the next player gets is the card you needed. In your head, it's hard to get around this, but you have to take into consideration the math's been worked out.
Right. And, if you're one of those players who, I know what the math is, but I want to hit or I want to stand, I want to play, that's fine. Have fun gambling.
Too. Right.
But we're telling you that mathematically, the best thing to do in certain situations is to surrender. So 2 examples. If you have a hard 16 and the dealer is showing a 10 or an ace, you should surrender, regardless of what the other rules of the game are. Now, there may also be other times when you should surrender, but that will depend on the other rules of the game. But when you have a 16, hard 16, and the dealer is showing a 10 or an ace, surrender.
So explain to me what a hard 16 is.
Okay, so a hard 16 is a hand that is absolutely 16, as opposed to a soft 16, which can be 6 or 16. So if you have ace 5, that's 16, but it's also 6.
Yeah. So on that hand, I probably wouldn't want to surrender.
No, absolutely not.
Right?
Because when you have a soft 16, you can hit and you won't bust on one card.
I can play to 16, and if I get a 5 or under, I'm good. And if I get a higher card, then
you have
I
a hard
played as
total.
a 6.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden I have a hard total, but I can deal with that then.
Yes, yes. All right, some more on doubling down. Many casinos will allow you to double down on your first 2 cards regardless of what they are. There are other casinos where it's no, you can only do it on 10 or 11.
I remember in up in Tahoe, that was pretty common.
Yes.
Only 10 and 11 could you double down on. Now, I can't remember what it was like a few years back when I was there. That was a little while ago. But I think they've lightened up on that a little bit.
Yeah, that was very consistent up in Northern Nevada. Yeah, they'd have that. But most casinos now, unless you're playing some weird single deck game and, they're paranoid, most casinos will let you double down on any 2 cards, your first 2 cards. Well, sometimes basic strategy dictates that you double down when you have a soft hand. We were talking about those soft hands. For example, if you have a soft 13 through soft 18, you should double down if the dealer is showing a 5 or a 6.
And if you think about that, that makes sense because 5 and 6 are the worst cards for the dealer because, assuming that his down card's a 10, which you should always assume, since there's more 10s in the deck.
That helps in figuring
else.
Basic strategy. Assume a 10,
just assume a 10. I mean, that's the best way for somebody who's new to the game to think about it.
Definitely.
And then if you assume they have a 10, they've got 15 or 16, so they have a lot more chances to bust than make a hand.
Yes.
So, supposedly you're at some advantage at this point.
Right. And yes.
You should probably try and maximize your win.
And you've got a soft hand, so you won't bust.
Right.
And you may improve to a really great hand. And even if you don't, maybe you've got like soft 13 and you double down and you get a 10, and now you've just got a hard 13. Yeah, that's a bad hand, but the dealer has a bad up card, so maybe you're still
and
okay.
He still has to go.
Right. So again, there are other situations when maybe you should double down with soft totals, but that's going to depend on the rules of the game. But in every game, if you have a soft 13 through soft 18, you should double down if the dealer is showing a 5 or a 6. Okay, never split 5s.
No, because you've got a 10.
Right.
Right. And you're assuming the next card you're going to get is a 10.
Yep.
That's the other thing. You got to assume that not only is the dealer card down is a 10, but you have to assume the next card that you're going to get is going to be a 10.
Right. So treat a pair of 5s just like any other hard 10. Hit against a 10 or an ace, otherwise double down.
Right.
Right. And you got to be careful because if you just put your money out there like you're doubling, the dealer will sometimes say, one card. That's the way they say it. They don't say, do you want to split or do you want to double down? They'll say one card. And what they're really asking is, do you want to double down? Because you only get one more card.
Right.
But just make it clear that when you double your bet, you're not splitting. Make sure the dealer knows you're actually doubling down. Never split 10s. Ever.
Because you got a winning hand.
Yeah, you've got a winning hand. You were talking about how, you assume that, you're going to get another 10, but not when you've got what is often a winning hand.
Right.
A pair of 10s, 20.
Right.
So never
Yeah,
split
the
10s.
only time to, and this I shouldn't even probably bring this up, but the only time to split 10s is like in a tournament situation where the dealer has a very bad card and you're hoping to maximize your win.
Or, you've been in those tournaments too where all you're trying to do is end up with the most money at the end.
Right.
So it doesn't matter really. I mean, you're not playing basic strategy at all. You're trying to get as much money on the table as you can and hope you get lucky.
Right.
So you're like doubling down on blackjacks and splitting 10s and crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But again, yes, let's make it clear. That's a tournament play, has nothing to do with basic strategy.
Because people will see that and think, why did he do that?
Yeah.
Well, that's totally different.
Yeah.
You're playing with your own money. You never split
I could
10s.
edit this out, but, out of respect for you, I'm going to leave this segment in, even though it might be confusing.
No, it's probably not confusing. It's just that, sometimes people see that. They're watching something like a tournament or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, why did the guy do that? Well, there are reasons to do weird things at times.
Yes. All right, let's talk about one more thing. Finally, if you have a soft 18, you hit if the dealer is showing a 9 or a 10.
Now, once again, this is another thing that people have a real hard time doing.
And we talked about it on our very first episode. It is the most misplayed hand in blackjack. And a dealer might even tell you you're making a mistake, but you should always hit a soft 18 against a 9 or a 10.
It's the math.
It's the long run. Maybe it will have turned out to be the wrong move for that particular hand you're playing, but in the long run.
Right. Or your whole trip, you do that and you're, 0 for 10. And you're thinking, what the hell is Mark talking about? I was 0 for 10.
Yeah.
No, in the long run, in your lifespan, that's probably going to work in your favor.
And that's tough. Often you should also hit against an ace, but again, that depends on the rules of the game. But a soft 18 against a 9 or a 10, hit look the dealer square in the eye and just be defiant.
Yeah, say,
Give me
I
the
know
card.
the math.
So that's just a sample. We really encourage you to check out Basic Strategy over. I'll put a link to the Wizard of Odds because he's got a lot of different tables that you can get. Or, you can, they sell them in the gift shops of a lot of casinos,
It's
right?
the one thing I was just thinking when you were saying this, it's the one thing that casinos do that's probably in your favor.
Yeah, sell those cards.
Right.
Yeah.
They change the rules to screw you as much as they can. They do everything they can to make it harder for you. But they do give you the rules and they give you basic strategy.
Because
it's amazing.
Even if you play perfect basic strategy, the casino is still going to have a house edge, sometimes as low as only 0.5%, but they still will have the edge.
But it's funny that they encourage you to play basic strategy. And the funny thing is they can hand those cards out to everyone who walks in the door, just force you to take one. And most people aren't going to play basic strategy.
Yeah.
Right.
And we've talked about how we still see people not playing basic strategy at the blackjack table. And really, there's nothing wrong with that if people are having fun and they want to do it. But if you really want to get good at blackjack in the long run and save yourself some money and still have fun, I think it's still fun.
Yeah.
Find some basic strategy, get one of these cards, look up basic strategy for the game that you're going to play over at Wizard of Odds. You can actually, type in all the information. Oh yeah, you can't double after splitting, or, you can resplit aces, or, so check it out and, educate yourself on it. Really, it doesn't take that long to memorize. And
a basic strategy really, is not that hard to memorize.
No,
there aren't really that many rules. It seems
there
like
aren't that many rules. And, there are some that you can kind of bundle together to kind of help you, how you're going to remember it all, memorize it. So.
Yeah, if you could convince my dad to take a card when he has 16 against a 10, then
the thing is, a 16 against a 10, it's a terrible hand.
Yeah.
It's a losing hand, hit or stand.
Yeah,
it's a terrible hand.
You're just going to lose just a little bit less.
You're going to lose less in the long run
if you hit it.
And when you hit it, if you hit it every time, you're going to bust more than you won't.
Right.
You will bust more than you won't.
And that's what my dad sees, and so he stays on it because he doesn't want to bust.
Oh, I bust every time. Well, it's not every time, but it is more than 50% of the time.
Right.
But keep in mind, you've got a losing hand. You're playing defense.
Right, you're playing defense. And, that is one of the closest calls.
It is a close call, 16 against a 10. Yeah, it is.
It's a very close call.
Yeah.
So when people do it, I don't have any problem with that.
Well, I try to not have a problem with whatever anybody does at the table as far as a decision on their hand.
Yeah, if there's a guy in third base, though, making really bad decisions, just change tables.
Yeah, if it really does bother you, and I can understand why it would bother you. But honestly, it makes no difference
and
in the long
sometimes
run.
it works in your favor. The guy makes
Sometimes
terrible
it does.
decisions, and
Yeah,
he busts, but the dealer ends up busting, or something happens.
You remember the times when it hurts you more than you remember the times that it helps.
Selective memory.
Yep,
it's like me with the Chargers. I'm still stuck in 1982.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're having a good season?
In 1982, we're having a good year.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Hey, that's going to do it for this episode. Kind of a short episode, but again, we're recording a little early, and we're excited about going to VIMF, and we're going to see everybody there. And
there'll be an extra episode
so.
After VIMF.
So VIMF, what we'll do is we're going to actually do our show at VIMF, and we will post that as an episode probably the following week, and then after that, we'll have another regular episode where we'll recap
so I think
everything
we should
that
call
happened.
this episode A, and the VIMP episode is B. It's a 2-part episode.
No, I refuse to do that. Thank you for your opinion, but when it comes to running that kind of thing on the podcast, I'm in charge.
These two should be linked. Don't you think they should be linked somehow?
We're never going to do that. It's just too confusing.
It's too confusing.
Too confusing for me.
For you.
Yeah. Hey, we want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, Eric, he said he is headed to Vegas VIMP weekend, but he won't be attending. Oh, so he's going to be there. It's kind of like Paul last year, right? He was there during.
He's like downtown. He's in the strip.
Maybe he's
somewhere.
probably
He
at the
doesn't
strip.
want to go downtown.
But anyway, he says, wish me luck. Yeah, good luck, Eric. Hope you have a good time. And then Robin, our buddy over at Anytime Gambling, sent us a very generous PayPal donation. He won't be able to attend either.
Yeah,
but
we're going to miss him at VIMP.
Yeah,
he's been a steadfast, he's there.
Yeah,
we look for him.
Yeah, so maybe next year. So, but thanks, Robin, for the PayPal donation. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program to search through all the raw American TV data. Just go to our webpage, youcanbetonthat.com, and click on the link at the top that says TV listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at You Can Bet On That. We tweet when we're heading to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you, and we're going to be tweeting the entire time we're in Las Vegas. And for those of you who are not on Twitter, not familiar with Twitter, you can still access our Twitter feed by just going to twitter.com/YouCanBetOnThat. It's open to everybody. It's not like Facebook where you have to friend us or anything. You can see there, and we're going to be tweeting the whole time as to where we're at any time. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. Okay. Thursday night. We're out of here, Mike. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're leaving a little late. It's like 9-something.
Yes,
right?
that's when we leave.
Yeah. So today we're watching football, and my wife said, "Now, when are you guys leaving?" Because her brother and his wife are actually coming that Thursday to our house. From Minnesota.
Okay.
They're going to be here for the weekend. They're attending a convention. So they get here in the afternoon. So she wanted to know, how that's going to work with taking us to the airport and stuff. And I said, well, we're not leaving till later, so we don't have to get to the airport till kind of late.
Yeah.
So we'll be fine to eat dinner and everything before we leave. And then my daughter said, well, you guys are going to be getting there late. And I said, yeah, it'll be like after 10 before the plane lands. And by the time we get our stuff together and get downtown, it's going to be pretty late. And she looked at me and she said, I bet Mark goes to bed.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's the way she said it. With a real disappointed, I bet Mark goes to bed.
She just heard the last episode, and she knows who I am.
And she's like,
and
he's going to go to
it.
bed, and you're going to be all alone to play.
I'm going straight to bed.
I said, I am so used to that, Ruby. It is no problem.
That weekend, I know Vimp weekend knocks me out, so I am going straight to bed. But I'll see everybody Friday morning. Yeah.
Well, that's your normal bedtime too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you got to get your sleep.
I got to get my sleep. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'd probably stay up late. I'll be exhausted Friday morning. Mm-hmm. I'll be like a zombie.
Oh, you'll be terrible. It'll be awful meeting
What's
people.
What's wrong with him?
And you'll already be down, $50,000, and it'll be awful.
It'll be terrible.
All right, thanks.
I guarantee I won't be down $50,000.
No, I know. I want to emphasize to people, Mike's never been down $50,000, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's not happening.
All right, thanks for listening.
Good night.